In a world where the marks think they know better than the wrestlers and the bookers, the Fantasy Booking Institute exists to pretty much do exactly that. This is a visit from the FBI. Welcome to your weekly visit from the FBI, your weekly dose of pro wrestling fantasy booking. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, fighting District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Little disappointed in our Canadian friend, but you know,
It's all like, oh, my school is so important that I'm all tired and have to go to sleep early. I mean, it is an hour later there, so I guess.
I mean, homeboy has never had kids though, so
Yeah.
he doesn't really know tired yet.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I know, dude. I have the oldest child of the three of us.
Tell
So
me about it. Yes, which means it's fresher in my mind.
listen, man, this isn't a pissing contest.
Yes, because I would win. I win. This is the I win.
Yes, you can pee. You pee exceptionally, brother.
That's right, I do. Anyways.
That's a whole podcast right there.
Yep, that's it. Good night, folks. Talk to you later. Make sure to tip your waitress. No JLB this week because, you know, he's tired from school and all that. So, just the two of us here. But we're going to have fun fantasy booking. If you're new to this particular part of our show, the Fantasy Booking Institute, the rules are kind of simple. We're going to take turns challenging the other person to book some unknown and usually unlikely scenario in the world of professional wrestling. We don't discuss them in advance, so our answers are made up entirely on the fly, because we think that's more fun, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Here's hoping. But before we get into the fantasy booking, though, I always take this moment to invite you all to like, share, and subscribe. That's the biggest one right there. If you're watching this live on one of the live streams, click that little like button there to let us know you're here. Give us a comment, thumbs up, share it with your friends so they know, and make sure you're subscribed so you get notified when we go live again, because we go live twice weekly. Maybe more often when some pay-per-views come up on days other than Sundays. Because it might happen. But so, you know, make sure to do that. Facebook and YouTube, we go live on twice weekly. Sunday nights and Tuesday nights at 10:30 Central. So get a subscribe for that. Otherwise, you can listen to this on the podcast. You'll just get it a little bit later. Right? You won't see it live. You don't get to interact directly with us, but that's all cool. It still goes up in the audio version, and it's always going to be up for replay on YouTube and Facebook, so you can watch that there as well.
Tonight with JLB gone, though, we do have a very special challenge. I mean, I would say first person to throw in an FBI or a crime we can discuss. Like, if they'll just comment one. Yeah. I mean, other than a comment that should be a crime that we block immediately, because that person's going to get blocked.
Yep, as soon as we notice those, we block them. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, follow us on the social medias. Also, make sure to check out our merch store. Link is going to be in the doobly-doos, so you can check that out there. We got some great merch. I've got an order coming in, so I'm going to start wearing them here soon on the show. I wanted to make sure I had it before the Zelo Pro event in a month.
Event, yes.
It's an event. Well, it's going to have Jordan Grace at it.
It's a month and a half, dude. It's not a month.
Yeah, month-ish.
Okay. Say what you will.
It's less than 2 months, so I round down.
Okay.
Because it's officially next month. So my brain is like, next month, it's in a month. That's the way it works.
Okay, fair enough.
But Jordan Grace is going to be there, so we can hopefully meet her at the meet and greet and say how we wish she was on something that we could watch a little easier than Impact. Because Who knows? There might be some more names announced for it in the not too distant future as people's schedules get a little bit more clear. But anyways,
I'm gonna have her deadlift me.
she very well might be able to.
I know. Squat me, baby.
I was watching the Olympics.
That sounds dirty.
And I was watching some of the female bodybuilders do the clean and jerk, which always sounds dirty regardless of who you're talking to about. But and I realized that they were literally lifting my weight. And I'm a big guy. And I was like, holy cow, those women. Holy.
Speaking of clean and jerk,
I wouldn't say it was clean, but I mean, what? We're gonna get canceled for that. But anyways, before we get into it, I always like to take this moment to notify people that we are part of the Tatnisco Podcast Network. So you can head on down to the Doobly Doos and click the link for tatnisco.com. Check out the other shows on the network there. And then give them a listen, give them a like, tell them that Raw and Order sent you, and, you know, spread the love around that way. But we are going to go ahead and get into the fantasy booking.
Let's do this.
I always give the co-hosts a chance to go first in this round, so if you want to go first, you can.
Sure, I'll go first. Okay. I like this. So, there's been some stories lately that had made me long for a day long gone. Lots of stories, you know, whether it's firings or releases where an icon gets released because they don't have a storyline for him, but also he should have never been hired because he's that old. With Ric Flair being gone now from WWE. And so my thought processes were I wanted you guys, which is just you, to I was gonna have you just do one, but I feel like 3 is probably more appropriate. Take 3 characters from the past and book them in modern day. You can choose the promotion, you can choose wherever they're at, but you have to choose the existing character. So as all of us full well know, in modern day, there's not really a promotion that's Stone Cold's character without it being Stone Cold Steve Austin having existed in the past. Would really work that well. He'd take some serious heat for on-air alcohol abuse and things of that sort. Flipping off the fans and stuff like that. So you just have to, this might be a little more sensitive because you might get stuck with somebody you don't really want, like Honky Tonk, because it really didn't break the PG-ness of modern era, or something like that. But take 3 and book their run in whatever promotion you want.
Okay. I mean, I will point out right now that there's an active storyline in AEW about an alcoholic who's trying to kick the habit and using it to work through his fears of confronting his former best friend, and they regularly flip off the crowd and other people in that. So, you know.
Okay, so maybe Stone Cold does work. Fine, if that's what you want.
No, but I'm just saying I think if you choose the right promotion, you've got a lot more options, sort of a thing.
A better example is you could not use the misogynistic nature of The Rock today.
No, you couldn't use Val Venus today. No, I get that. I'm just pointing. Stone Cold wasn't maybe the best example there. Frankly, I'm going to start with one, and then we'll see how long it takes there. But the simple fact is, in his prime, Bret Hart in modern wrestling would be a game changer.
Works great. Yep.
For right now, like, in his prime, excellent of execution, Bret Hart. in it doesn't matter which promotion. I'm an AEW mark, so I'm gonna say AEW, but like you put Bret Hart in his prime against Seth Rollins right now, sign me up. Finn Balor, yep, yes, please. Johnny Gargano, heck yeah. You know, Adam Cole, that would be a ton of fun.
Does he have the work rate for it, you think?
I think he did. It was just a different type of work rate at the time. But that's part of why I think it would work is you would have some of this modern high flying, but then you'd still have some of this more old school psychology side of things. But of course, like I said, I'd put him in AEW because I would love to see a classic era in his prime, Bret Hart versus Sammy Guevara, versus Cody. That would be fire. Versus Kenny Omega versus Hangman versus Moxley. Have the violence on one side and the precision on the other side.
Ooh, fun. I like it.
I mean, there are very few people today that I would trust for a 60-minute Iron Man match. But Kenny Omega versus Bret Hart, I could trust. I think
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
I even think a Hangman Page. We haven't seen Hangman Page do a full 60-minute, but his style, I think, lends itself to something like that. So, of course, you would have to do him babyface. That's where he works best. Anytime they flirted with him being the heel.
Bullshit. The 97 heel run was fantastic.
The only times for me it worked as a heel was when Owen was involved. And
I guess Owen was involved in that, so I can give you that.
And I'm unfortunately not bringing Owen with him, so it was a one-ticket trip. So
yeah, it's like a Terminator type time machine. It only goes one direction and it's done.
Exactly.
Then you got to wait 12 more years.
Mm-hmm. And while you're there, you got to bone his mom.
Yeah, so that you can be born.
Yes.
Weird. Anyway, moving forward.
But I mean, that would be the number one. Number two, in the same vein, would be Mr. Perfect. Kurt Hennig in modern. Sign me up.
I think as his heel work goes, I mean he's very MJF-esque, and the style works. So yeah, I can give you that.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Perfect was truly perfect. He had everything about him set up so perfect for it. His heel work was perfect. His in-ring work. There's the video. I think I've even shared the GIF of it, where he's facing off with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho goes to do a lion salt and is going to miss. Like, he's not going to flip enough for the lion salt. And Kurt Hennig, on the floor, laying there ready to take the lion salt, recognizes it and raises his legs up to catch Chris Jericho in the air and help him finish flipping over so that he doesn't, like, land and break his neck. And just, I mean, you watch it in slow motion and it still amazes you how he was able to spot it happening and fix it before someone died. But on top of it, even his promos and his vignettes.
We miss you. Not really.
His vignettes, like the How Perfect Is He vignettes where he was like playing basketball and hitting half court shots like they were nothing. All of those things. And I know those probably took 1,000 tries to get it to look so perfect, but I don't care. The character was so perfect for it. So he could even be that character that comes in and out MJF's MJF right now.
I don't think he has the asshole down that MJF had, though. But MJF, he'll drop F-bombs and everything.
Well, yeah, and I agree, but you don't have to drop f bombs to be a condescending asshole, right? If you just
True.
if you think you're better than everyone, especially with Mr. Perfect, he's just like, I just proved I'm better than you. I don't need to cuss. I'm better than you. You think you're better than everyone? I'm better than everyone. Right? Look at this. Look at me hit this half court hook shot without looking. So that would be mine. You know, and I don't know if necessarily AEW would be the perfect fit for him. He'd fit in perfectly. I mean, he'd be an improvement to modern era WWE. Come in and be a real heel.
Absolutely. He would actually be a title carry. He would hold the world title right if he was in WWE right now. Same character.
Yep. So, and I love me some Kurt Hennig. Rest in peace, my boy. And then I for the third one, I'm going to kind of cheat a bit because I can't just bring one. I'm bringing the Steiners, both of them. Pre-Big
Yeah, because
Papa
if you
Pump.
just bring Scott, then you have the misogynistic that won't work in today's day and
Well,
age.
yeah, and that's the deal. Is you can't bring Big Papa Pump, not in that form, but you can bring pre-Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, and Rick Steiner, because that's when they worked the best. Yeah, there was a video on TikTok I was watching earlier today, and it was like, "What your favorite tag team says about you," and it got to Scott, the Steiner brothers. If you're a fan of the Steiner brothers, what it says about you, and I was like, "You probably watch AEW," and I just commented, "I feel attacked." I mean, it's true, but I feel attacked.
Yeah, it's legit, but
Yeah. Well, you got to call me out like that. But and so because of that, I makes perfect sense. Steiner brothers come in and just tear up the AEW tag division. Just like, yeah, you can do all your little flip-de doos and Meltzer drivers all you want. You are not going to escape. You know
this.
this.
Just this.
Yeah.
All right. So, to put an expansion on it, because we are short a person, I also want you to take 3 that didn't work then that would work now. A little harder to do.
It is. In a way,
Like, obviously, Duke the Dumpster Drozy doesn't work at all.
yeah, it is harder, but not quite. Alex Wright.
Dancing German.
And here's the deal: the Dancing German. The thing with Alex Wright was Dancing German was just kind of a side gimmick for him. His real gimmick is he was a mat-based technical wrestler
Okay.
who was phenomenal. And so he could come into modern day AEW or NXT and just absolutely kill it. Right?
Okay.
I think everyone would love the fuck out of Alex Wright if they saw him today. I really think Alex Wright was just so far ahead of his time on his skill set. And the fact that he didn't have at the time, people wanted a really defined gimmick, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They wanted you to they wanted you to be Disco Inferno or Glacier, even though they hated Glacier, or
Macho Man.
or Macho Man, you know, or something like that. And he didn't have that. He was just, I dance on the way to the ring, and I kick ass in the ring. And I'm going to give you an example from modern day AEW, right? Tell me, what is Angelico's gimmick?
There's not really one.
He dances on the way to the ring, and he kicks ass in the ring.
Well, okay, but yeah, I mean, you don't really care about the dancing in the with the ring.
You don't really, and you didn't really for Alex Wright. I mean, you sort of did, but
It felt forced with Alex Wright. I'll agree.
it was just And so, I mean, effectively, Alex Wright is just Angelico version 0.05. You know what I mean? Just the beta version of Angelico.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like, this is the public beta. We're going to fix all the bugs in version 1.0. So that's like probably my number one of failed bring to modern era, because the simple fact is, go back and watch the mid '90s, mid to late '90s WCW matches featuring Alex Wright, and he never really got like a full shot at things like the. I think he had the cruiserweight belt. He had the TV title at one point.
Yeah.
But they never really gave him like a full run of anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because I would say that like Dean Malenko, though it would be great today and was great back, I would say it fits under great back then too.
Yeah, it was
Like,
kind of my thoughts as well.
like some people would say, well, he never held the world championship. Yeah, Dean Malenko wasn't designed. I mean, you make him bigger and he's just Bret Hart.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, in the end, even the held the world title is kind of a bullshit concept in this, because there are people who held the WCW world title that you would not say were successful gimmicks back then.
Yeah, one of them was a booker.
Yep. I mean, even more than that, it's like Vampiro in late '90s, early 2000s WCW.
Nearly held the title.
Yeah, he was in a huge feud. Oh, that's up. But would you say he was successful back then in the modern market?
No.
I would say no. He's had a successful career. That's for certain.
But his push in WCW just was like too little, too late.
Yeah, and so I mean, there are people. I mean, you could argue that Lex Luger was failed in some ways because he never lived up to the promise that he was originally done. But he's a world title
Former world champion. Yeah.
He's not going to be one of my choices. I was just throwing him out as a
Okay.
as a proof that the title isn't necessarily the proof that you were a success or not. It's how you were booked. Like, well, coming up tomorrow, I should say, on AEW, you've got Chris Jericho versus Hoovy. Hoovy never came close to the world title, right? But he's a multi-time champion in the cruiserweight. He even held the WWF Cruiserweight Championship at one point. I didn't know that, but I found that out and I was like, really?
That's cool.
And so, but you could argue that he wasn't a failed wrestler because he was super popular, Inversely, I bet you if I look up WCW champions, I can find at least one that we would be able to really say was a failed. You know what I mean?
Probably. That isn't a former actor or booker.
Yes. That isn't that isn't Vince Russo or David Arquette.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start at the end and go backwards.
Did David Flair have it?
I don't know if he ever had it, but let's see here. Okay. Booker T was the last one. Steiner, Booker T, Vince Russo, Booker T, Kevin Nash, Booker T. I would argue, and some people might get angry, that Jeff Jarrett was never a success in the grand scheme of things.
Ooh.
He was there. He was all over the place. But he was there mostly because I didn't really get heat for this, but because his family,
Well, and he learned to play politics.
Mm-hmm.
Really well.
Ric Flair, Kevin Nash, Jeff Jarrett again. Ric Flair, Jeff Jarrett again. There's David Arquette. DDP, Jeff Jarrett again. Sid
Listen to all that
Vicious.
no Hulk Hogan. I would say Sid Vicious is a failed gimmick.
I would say too.
Always wonderful to watch though, because it was so terrible.
Kevin Nash, Sid Vicious
Master
again,
and the ruler of the world.
Chris Benoit, Bret Hart, Sting. Hey, there's Hollywood Hogan.
You got to go back a ways for Hogan to have held the title in WCW.
Randy Savage, Kevin Nash, GDP, Sting, DDP, Ric Flair, Hollywood Hogan, Kevin Nash. There's Goldberg. His 174-day reign. Hollywood Hogan, Savage, Sting, Hogan, Luger, Hogan, the Giant. I would argue that in WCW, the Giant was probably a failed gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
In the grand scheme of things, not. Paul White, not a failed gimmick. But in 90s era WCW, 100% failed gimmick. Ric Flair, Randy Savage. The Giant, he was two-time. I forgot that. Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair. Going back before that, Big Van Vader. This is pre-WCW now. But Sting. Big Van Vader. Ron Simmons. Big Van Vader. Sting. Lex Luger. And then Ric Flair, and before that it was the NWA, so. Anyways.
Whew.
Yeah, so that was my side tangent. So, question, would you consider D'Lo a failed gimmick?
Absolutely. I think he could have been so much more than just the now he does have a blessing that he got to unify the European and Intercontinental championships. He was the first Euro Intercontinental champion.
Didn't he do a whole gimmick where he pretended to be from a different country, like claimed to be from a different country every? I can't remember. I think that was D'Lo, but I can't remember. Anyways, but yeah, so he's another one failed Attitude Era gimmick that I would bring to the modern times, because again,
just the head bob alone would be worth it.
Well, and the simple fact is, we live in a time where heavy gimmicks are not as important, right?
Yeah.
You know, what is Kenny Omega's gimmick? Well, he's the best bout machine. He's the belt collector. It's not really a heavy gimmick. That's just him being the best wrestler he could be. What's Chris Jericho's gimmick? Well, he's the GOAT. He's the guy who's been around and done everything. Well, that's really just who Chris Jericho is. MJF, well, he's just the asshole rich kid who thinks he's better than everyone. That really could be just who MJF is, you know? Go over to WWE. Jeez, shows my age there. Go over to WWE. What's Seth Rollins' gimmick? Cocky guy who brags about how good his fashion is. Okay. What's John Morrison's gimmick?
Flip-de-doos.
Cocky guy who does flip-de-doos and brags about how good his fashion sense is.
Yeah.
What's the Miz's gimmick? Cocky guy who brags about how good his fashion is.
And he's an actor.
And he's an actor. Yes, that makes him different.
We're starting to tread some dangerous waters there.
Yeah.
So The Rock, cocky guy who brags about his fashion sense and his $600 shirts and is an actor. Yeah. But he's a better actor than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes him Miz and MJF combined. That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
So-
Anyway,
So D'Lo could come to modern era, either NXT or AEW, and just be D'Lo,
yeah.
and he would have success. And would he be world title holder? I don't know if he would. I mean, I think he could in NXT. Somehow or another, I just don't know if he'd be world title material for AEW. And I know it sounds weird to hold him to two different standards, but
I think he could pull up on Impact pretty solidly too.
oh yeah,
His
definitely.
promo skills were really solid too.
Um,
All right, so
Which
third
is-
failed gimmick.
which is important to point out because he is one of the color commentators for Impact Wrestling currently. So,
Yeah.
ta-da, full circle there. Third failed gimmick.
I have one that I think would work great here, and I bet you're not going to say it, but I will tell you at the end of this.
Okay. The tough thing is, like, there are a lot of them that I would argue were failed gimmicks in the 90s that, without any sort of real gimmick change, became successful right after.
Or somebody who did change their gimmick, you know, like Stunning Steve became Stone Cold Steve, and that was a success. Stunning Steve, I think, could have been successful.
I mean, that's what I was
hairline.
going to say. WCW era Chris Benoit.
He didn't change anything. He just eventually became the
anything.
champ.
Yeah, he became the champ. But no, while you were talking, I had one jump into my head, and it's Mike Awesome.
Amen, brother. I mean, yes, he was successful in EC Dubs, but mainstream fucked that up. Both of them.
Yes. Yeah, just totally screwed. And then, fucking Russo era gave him that 70s dude and the fat chick Thrilla. Oh, poor Mike Awesome.
So bad.
Poor Mike Awesome.
He still laugh, but it's so horrible. That would never work in today's era.
Oh, sure wouldn't. And good riddance.
I also think Mongo. Give Mongo some training. I think he could have been pretty good.
That's 100% the biggest problem with Mongo is he never had the training that he needed to.
Yeah, his mic
Mongo
skills were exceptional.
If Mongo had just spent a year at the power plant before coming, and I know why they didn't, they wanted to capitalize on the fact that he was a success in pro football. He was a name. They didn't want him to lose the luster.
Yep.
Per se. So I get it and everything, but his biggest problem was just he was so green the entire time that, he looked it. And so give him some time. Give him some time with QT in the Nightmare Factory.
QT.
And at the same time,
after you posted that today,
take QT off of my TV and just let him
train Mongo McMichael.
train Mongo in the Nightmare Factory.
But yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with Chris Benoit. I think he should have been a world champion way earlier than he was. But the same goes for Jericho.
Same goes for Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. And all of them got there eventually. So, all right, fair enough. The person I was going to go with, and at first you're going to disagree with me on whether or not it works in today's era, and then you're going to be like, holy shit, I think it does work in today's era. And that is Doink the Clown. I literally think Doink the Clown. It was successful at being Doink the Clown, but I think Doink the Clown with a minor tweak and having be a little bit scarier of a clown works exceptionally well today, especially in Impact.
Possibly.
With
I
the
don't know.
whoopee cushion as a move, I think that move is great. I think just make him a little bit more of a creepy clown, and I think you're on point. People to this day are terrified of clowns for some reason.
Yeah. I was never a Doink fan myself, so that probably colors my opinion on this a bit. Doink was not my cup of tea.
I would say Doink is an unsuccessful gimmick that could have moved. Um, and it's purely gimmick. Like they could do that today, and I would WWE would mess it up, but I think AEW or Impact could pull off Doink pretty easily. Um, trying to think of other gimmicks. I think the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart back together as a tag team. I think that could have worked. That could work today. They were very technical. They put on a show. Their showmanship, Billy Gunn's showmanship was solid even in '92 when he was like 22 or whatever he was. Like it was good. Um, trying to think, yeah, there was oh Kevin Thorne played something other than Kevin Thorne. He was where it was like a white Mordecai. Was that what it was
Mordecai,
called?
yep.
Mordecai. I don't think that works today. We know the Undertaker would not work. Freshly presented today, the Undertaker does not work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hands down, it doesn't work. I don't know if Mordecai would. I almost feel like Gangrel would. Maybe.
I think so. I mean, I think Gangrel. It's one of those. The one thing about it is I don't know. I don't think it would work in AEW. I don't think it would work in NXT necessarily. But I think main roster WWE or Impact could present him. I mean,
As
because
a faction leader. That Gangrel working with James. The only reason to do James Mitchell still is if you have a Gangrel S character
and of course
or
I
a
say that
Mordecai
all
type character.
100% knowing that Gangrel actually appeared on AEW. That's an important side note.
Yeah, it still doesn't work in AEW.
I don't think it works, but he did appear. So
Um, those are the types of gimmicks I'm talking about. I would say so. Here's three dudes that were underrated that absolutely could have been better than they were, and I think today in the right promotion they could happen. Brian Clark, Brian Adams, Scott Norton, all three of those guys. Scott Norton was a New Japan Pro champion, world champion. I mean, Scott Norton's good. He could go. The fact that he got stuck with Buff Bagwell in a tag team was WCW shitting on him. And again, Brian Adams, Brian Clark, that chronic tag team was very enjoyable to watch. It just sucked that they had to make it about Pot. They could have been any other number of big tough dude things. Not that Pot doesn't have its own segment and stuff, but those two were studs. I don't know if Adam Bomb works, and I don't know if Crush works, but those two together as a tag team, still to this day, could come into even AEW. Maybe they need a ring manager. I feel like they probably do, but just be this dominant force that comes in, destroys, and leaves. And as for heel work, that's great. So I think there's a bunch that maybe could work better today. You know, Scott Norton, Bam Bam Bigelow, as Bam Bam, maybe doesn't work today. His work rate's certainly there though. So I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, who knows?
just trying to throw a few more out there to give us a little more time. Now it's time for you to do your booking, and you got this big thing that you said
Yes.
you've had planned. So,
I have a plan. Give me
okay,
1 second to do this.
what do you have a screen share that you're going to do here?
I do.
Oh Lord, it's like, here's my bracket. There it is.
There it is. There's your bracket.
Oh jeez. What are you doing?
With the news that WWE is planning a Queen of the Ring tournament, reportedly with the finals to take place in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I figured we should book Queen of the Ring.
Okay.
Now, originally, I was going to have you and JLB go back and forth on this, but of course, no JLB, so I guess I will participate.
So we're going to have the 8 is great. The great 8.
Mm-hmm.
Is Becky back? Question number 1 for this conversation. Because we know she's not yet, but she's very close as well.
Yeah, I'm just debating on whether very close is enough. I will allow Becky. I will also, though, say that we are limiting ourselves to current main roster stars.
Okay.
So no new call-ups. However, call-ups that have already happened, like Tony Storm, count.
Okay. Are champions involved in this? Because usually they don't have champions involved.
Yes, and I'm going to say continuing that. No champions, which means Bianca Belair, current champion. We're going to pretend like this is starting right away.
So Rhea and Bianca are out.
Not Rhea.
No, Charlotte and Bianca are out. No,
not Charlotte.
Nikki Ash.
ASH.
Sorry, Nikki.
Yes.
Yeah, Nikki Ash. Sorry. All right. I feel like this is building towards a Charlotte feud, so I want to leave Charlotte off of it altogether. Queen of the Ring. I don't see how you could not have Becky on there. Are you doing a random number generator for their locations, or
nope?
Okay, down the list or traditional seating style.
We're just going down the list. We're just going
straight down the list. Okay,
straight down this list here. Yes.
So it's not traditional seating style.
Not traditional seating style. But here's the deal: the reason I'm saying we're going down this list here is because I do want us to alternate and take into consideration
the prior pick.
Well, yeah, the prior pick and what sort of match or what sort of storyline we can tell from this. Like, for instance, with Becky coming back, being her first match or first series back, we don't want her to go out in the first round, right?
Yeah.
So for this, I am going to say that we put her against someone that she's faced before, someone that should put up a good fight, but at the same, like a good show, but at the same point, Becky will likely beat. And so for that, I am going to go with
Dana Brooke.
No. Although that would have been a good one. I'm going to go with Carmella. Okay.
Mella.
Mm-hmm. Former champion, should put up a
we're having fight. 16 on this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Top and bottom on those. Sorry, I thought you were doing 8.
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna.
So here, because you went first on the last one, I'll go first on this one here. On this one, I am going to do. I don't want to do her yet. Um, Liv Morgan.
Oh, good old Live.
Yeah, good old Live Morgan.
Jeez. Oh, I think if Liv Morgan is on there right now, I think this is an opportunity to showcase a wrestler because they're obviously going to go up against the former champion from the other bracket or the other side of this. I'm going to say. I'm going to say Tegan Knox.
Okay.
To getting their first opportunity, two young ladies.
Okay.
Okay, so I got to pick now, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Nia Jax.
This storyline writes itself.
You're doing Shayna already?
Yes, it writes itself because they just had them on Raw yesterday. Start the hint of the breakup, and so having them face off with each other in the first round.
Wow.
Because then whoever we end up choosing to lose can come back to affect later match. So Shayna Baszler in that one. This is where I'm gonna go with good old Tony Storm.
Oh, Tony Storm. Is Scarlett officially pulled up yet?
No, she is not.
What kind of build are we getting to these first round matches?
I don't know, the same build we get to every tournament first round.
Well, there's not a chance to have Tony versus Rhea later, so I guess we put Tony versus Rhea now.
Yeah, I mean the only
which does open up Rhea versus Shayna. I like that because Rhea knocked off Tony. I'm sorry, Tony knocked off Rhea in UK, and then Rhea knocked off Shayna. So yeah, I like that. Rhea Ripley.
Okay. So next section of the bracket.
Shotzi Blackheart. Notice the intentional not having Shotzi versus Tegan. We don't need that crap.
For Shotzi, who would be good? Dewdrop.
I'm sorry, Shotzi.
Yeah. That's sorry for lots of reasons, but I have a concept. We'll see if it works out here. So Dewdrop there. I am going to go with Asuka.
I was gonna say, Asuka and Alexa both still have to make this list, as well as is Bailey active? No, Bailey's injured right now, so that didn't
Bailey's
work.
injured, so she's out. Yeah.
But Sasha is not. And I don't want Sasha there. I think I want Sasha on the other side.
Yeah. The only thing that holds Sasha back is just she just showed back up and is entering a feud with Bianca Belair, but that doesn't mean she can't be on there. So I just go.
I'm gonna go with Naomi. The friends, they're pals, they're buddies. They both like the hip attack.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Next one.
Oh, it's me. Alexa Bliss.
It looks like your Wi-Fi name or password has changed. To update your Wi-Fi information.
Alexa, be quiet.
Yeah, I was gonna do Alexa in this next bracket because I think that makes more sense. So we have Alexa. Zelina.
Zelina Vega.
So now the first of the last two to enter. This is probably gonna sound like a throwaway. Maybe. Yeah, this is gonna sound like a throwaway. I have a concept, at least behind it. I mean, it is a throwaway, but there's a concept. Get her a big debut in the thing, but then she gets destroyed by whoever you choose. So, because I have an idea who you're going to choose.
Well, yeah, I already said that Sasha has to be on this. I mean, I was hoping you'd choose Charlotte, and then I could pick Sasha, and you could be like, well, you didn't want Charlotte on it, but Charlotte's on it.
Nope, I wasn't going to do that. Okay. So now
we got to pick winners.
We have to pick winners. So Becky versus Carmella. I think this is an easy choice.
Yeah, this is Becky.
I just don't think there's any reason to pick Carmella to win that.
Nope.
The next one is maybe a little tougher.
I think hands down this is Liv Morgan. I think this is her coming out party.
Mm-hmm. The only reason it's a tougher is, there's part of you that wants to give Tegan Nox a big win, in this, but I think Liv. Frankly, if after firing every single tag team partner she's ever had, they don't give her some sort of a push, I don't know what they're doing. So
yeah, well, and I think Tegan and Shotzi can go lick each other's wounds and come back as an even stronger tag team.
So Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler.
You're low by a line. No, you're on the right line. Never mind. I kind of want to ruin this. Here's my thought process in this: is Nia can go through 2 here. She gets the fight with Becky. I don't want Nia to beat Shayna, but I think you can have you can play shenanigans here really easily with Nia. And that's my thought process. And then Shayna gets to be a machine legitimately, while Nia gets the shenanigans play.
Yeah. I mean,
the only reason I would go that route.
I could see Shayna winning and I could see this being Nia's big heel turn. Really.
Could be.
Shayna wins, and then tries to do the, like, we're friends, shake hands afterwards, and Nia just, Simone drops her, destroys her, and then comes back in the second round and
attacks her while she's in the
attacks
ring.
her while she's in the ring to help whoever comes through from the Toni Storm Rhea Ripley one. But I mean, I can see it going either way. I like the other side of the coin is unless you have shenanigans from Shayna, you'd have Nia go through. Nia versus Toni Storm or Nia versus Rhea Ripley is a lot tougher to.
Well, yeah, I mean, if Nia goes through, Nia has to go through to Becky. And I don't think we want to do that.
Yes.
So I'm going to say Shayna Baszler, I guess. That works. But with Nia attempting shenanigans and then attacking afterwards and using shenanigans later.
Yes. Oh, 100% Nia heel shenanigans. Yes.
Golly, this is really tough because this match happened in NXT UK. This match happened and it made it so that Rhea Ripley could come over to NXT. But they're both very different people now.
I know the reports have it backstage that Vince wants everyone to consider Rhea Ripley a face. That she's a good guy. But at the same point, reports have it that they want Toni Storm to be a face. I don't think Toni Storm works as a face right now. Like, her whole character has kind of an MJF-ish to it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I personally, if I were booking this, Toni Storm would be the heel and Rhea the face. At which point, it makes sense for Toni Storm to be the victor in the end, with heel tactics as well as putting a heel versus face Shayna Baszler in round 2.
You know, I also like the throwback to a feud that's happened before. I'm okay with Toni Storm having 2-0 against Rhea Ripley, and that being the thorn in Rhea's side. Toni is the young Charlotte in Rhea's life. Those are the two people she struggles with.
Okay, so now Shotzi versus Doudrop.
Doudrop.
Winner, Eva.
Marie. You can. That might be kind of funny because they announce Eva every time.
That's why I did that. It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be based on Eva Marie helping her cheat, and because she wants to announce that she's the actual victor. But yeah, Doudrop going through, which then sets up what I think would be Asuka. Yeah. That Asuka versus Naomi is just kind of that match to give Asuka a win to get through to the next round. So
yeah.
Alexa versus Zelina Vega.
I feel like there needs to be a first round upset, and I feel like this is it.
So you say Zelina. I was not going that way. I get what you're saying with the first round upset. I just don't think.
I think Zelina has the athleticism to pull it off, and Alexa needs a swerve on her character to make her want to change this character.
And I think, and I guess we'll fight it out to get it, but I think the payoff to this is Alexa versus Doudrop, in the semifinals,
and Doudrop leaving Ava behind,
and potentially. Or Ava destroying Lily off screen or out of the ring and taking all the powers from Alexa, and then allowing Alexa to go back to Alexa. But
you told a long enough storyline that I'm gonna allow it, but I don't like Schmaz and Zelina Vega that fast. But okay,
I don't like either. But that's why
I think that should be a 20-minute match. I really do.
The only other reason I have that there is the reason I put Zelina Vega. It can be a big match, but WWE's been schmozzing Zelina Vega since she came back.
Yeah, that's true. This is what you get for your fiance going to the other company.
And talking about unions.
Don't ever do that again.
This, Zelina. Okay. Aaliyah versus Sasha Banks.
Sasha,
Aaliyah.
Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, you're done. Just
Yes.
I'm not even gonna have a discussion about Aaliyah's existence.
I just wanted to type Aaliyah just to piss you off there.
Yeah, we're just gonna move forward with life.
Okay. Becky versus Liv Morgan.
I think that this is although it is a coming out party for Liv Morgan, and this becomes a 10 or 12 minute match, I think Becky's the one who wins here.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the real kicker for Liv Morgan here, if she's in the disarmor and passes out, I think that tells a great story.
Yeah, this could be an ultimate face turn sort of thing for her.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. No arguments there. Shayna Baszler versus Toni Storm.
Shayna Baszler.
Say Shayna Baszler?
Yeah, I think this is the culmination of the feud that we didn't really get to enjoy.
Yeah. And I could see this going either way, but the only way I would say Toni Storm would win would be Nia Jax shenanigans that Toni takes advantage of. But I'm fine with Shayna.
Yeah, I think the Nia Jax shenanigans can be tried. But at the end of the day, Shayna just overcomes, and then Nia Jax shenanigans. After that, you need to click on a distant cell. There you go. So you're saying Doudrop over Asuka, huh?
That's what I was saying, with Ava Marie's help. I mean, this is all about Ava Marie distraction and heel tactics on the outside to stoke her own ego.
Okay, I'll let you have Doudrop get it for Ava Marie to be the champ.
On top of it, this gives Asuka another. I mean, Asuka's established enough that she can take some losses, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so she can start to set up another round of, because Asuka needs more opponents of her level, right? So you elevate Doudrop with this, with a big win over Asuka. You can tell the story of Doudrop, coming to believe in herself more and more, and maybe think, do I actually need Ava Marie to do all this, or can I stop being Doudrop and start being the Viper Piper Niven again?
Okay, fair enough. And this is gonna pain me. You're a dick.
I am.
Because you want your storyline over there, you're booking the bottom and I'm booking the top. Alexa beats Sasha. Alexa, shut up. Alexa, be quiet.
To the Alexa app.
Looks like, well, stop saying my name.
I do want to book how that match happens. I think Aaliyah, in terms of who she is as a character, or who we've seen her is as a character, Aaliyah needs to interfere in Sasha's match.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think anybody truthfully believes that Alexa under this gimmick can beat Sasha. Notice how I immediately look over there to make sure she's not listening.
Yeah. I think with this gimmick, as long as they play it, because they've established that this is Lily's superpower, right? You establish this, that Lily helped her win. But then that's the storyline that we have with this Doudrop versus Alexa for the semis, is effectively Alexa losing her superpowers. So
Okay.
Back to the top. Becky versus Shayna Baszler.
At this point, Becky being the only one of the horsewomen left. This is me giving 50-50 booking to Shayna Baszler. I'm gonna have Charlotte come out and interrupt Becky's thunder here, and I'm gonna have Shayna Baszler go to the finals here because she's the Queen of Hearts.
I didn't move that.
or the Queen of Spades. Sorry.
I'm not going to argue with that. Because just like I said with Becky, or with Asuka, Becky has the same thing. Becky can lose a match and not lose any of her losses.
Well, and
especially
Charlotte can be pissed off that Becky's getting all this attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so all she would have to do is have her music play, and Shayna could come up, cure through the clutch, and it's over.
Mm-hmm. But that's my point. It doesn't hurt Becky to lose.
No.
At all. And it sets Shayna up as a badass.
It gives us the feud that eventually we're all going to want. Yes, we're all going to roll our eyes when it happens, but we all still want Charlotte versus Becky. We enjoy Charlotte versus Becky. It's Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. Nobody else is ever in this feud. Well, here's Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. All right, this is cool. Get to hear some chops. Awesome.
Yep. So now here's where I struggle a little bit. Because while I want, storyline-wise, I want Ava Marie and Doudrop to destroy the Lily. And therefore take away Alexa's powers. But I'm not sure if I want Doudrop to win. So do I have Alexa figure out without her powers she can underdog win it?
Can I help you with this and make it fit in your storyline?
Okay.
So, because the semis and the finals are a significant amount of time apart, because the finals are the only thing that's overseas, right? So, because they're 2 weeks apart, you have the Alexa loss to Doudrop. But Alexa finds herself in the next week. Alexa, be quiet.
Go to the Alexa app.
It needs me to repair Wi-Fi, and I'm not going to do it right now.
Sponsored by Amazon.
No joke. Anyway, so it allows for that feud for her to be, for the female fiend to be to rebuild herself as her traditional character, the coffee loving girl, and find her power within herself. Especially if you made it 2-3 weeks, something like that, a little farther distance. And the more time you can have, Alexa can tell Doudrop, I found my power without Lily. You can find your power without Ava Marie. And you can have the turn happen in this match of Doudrop on Ava Marie.
Possibly.
So then Doudrop can Doudrop Ava Marie through a table overseas, and she can stay there in Saudi Arabia for the rest of her life. And she could even win the overall tournament. I don't think she does, but...
Yeah, well, that's also kind of where it comes into. It's like... And that's part of my question as to whether or not I want her to beat Alexa is... these tournaments are often about setting up who's the next star. You know what I mean? Who are we going to focus on now? And I think the real winner, the real person that we need to focus on is Shayna Baszler. I think we need to establish her as...
Yeah, I think she's ready for a title run. Or a title challenge, like multiple challenges. Show that heel work that she was so good at in NXT.
Yeah. And so... but because of that, I'm just not sure... I mean, maybe your way works. I'm not sure if Doudrop losing in the finals hurts Doudrop more than her losing in the semifinals. You know what I mean?
I don't think it does, because that goes immediately from the finals into the feud. When Ava Marie's saying, "I made you," and Doudrop's like, "I made me."
Mm-hmm. But you could have that after the semifinals as well.
True.
Like, you could have Alexa go through in this. You could even have Alexa... In fact, that's the argument I'm going to have. That is the way I'm going to do this. Okay. My argument is this. Alexa wins in in Lily powered mode.
Okay.
Afterwards, Ava turns on Dewdrop. Ava turns on her, saying, "You're
Okay.
worthless. You were supposed to provide me my victory. You're worthless." And in her fit, she picks up Lily and she tears Lily's head off. So this is all you had to do. Which then sets up Ava versus Dewdrop for the next couple weeks, but then also sets up Alexa to go into the finals no longer evil Alexa.
Trying to find her power.
So now she's in the finals, but no longer has the evil superpower thing going. Which then allows her to put on a more traditional face heel match without worrying about the powers. Would allow Shayna to be an absolute badass and just throw Alexa around for a while.
Dewdrop could come out and give her a pep talk after beating Ava Marie
Yep.
the previous week.
Plus,
I didn't
think
need my puppet. You don't need yours.
Yep. And I think in the end, Shayna winning versus Alexa helps boost Shayna up because she won versus a multi-time former champion.
Okay, that works.
Okay. So that's where I'm going. But that means we agree.
That Shayna's the champ. Queen of Spades as the Queen of the Ring is a very good move. And Charlotte can then have a feud with Becky rolling right into a feud with Shayna. Or a feud with Shayna rolling right into a feud with Becky.
Exactly.
I want a Charlotte Becky feud, but I don't want it for a title.
And I mean that's the deal. Is that I mean that allows so many of these things can lead to other matches.
Because
You know.
while Charlotte and Becky are feuding, you still have Nia Jax trying to ruin Shayna Baszler's run. Every single time she's trying to ruin Shayna Baszler's run. And Shayna still comes out on top.
Which then also could set up a future
Heel versus heel, which is great.
and also a future something for Dewdrop. Nia Jax comes out in the final to try to attack Shayna. Now suddenly Goody Two Shoes Dewdrop, who's out there trying to support Alexa and help her win, stops Nia.
Just make it fair.
Yes, to make it fair. You still have Nia versus Shayna set up at some point, but you also have now teased Nia versus Dewdrop,
Dewdrop at some point.
which would be a really fun sort of way to bring Dewdrop to the forefront.
Yeah. I mean, it would take 1 year booking and lots of teasers for long-term storylines. But you could pull this off really nicely. You could have Aaliyah getting destroyed by Sasha for 6 months. And nobody would be upset about it.
Nope.
You could
Until
even have
finally they call up Robert Stone, and he brings the Robert Stone brand to the main roster and is able to find a way to get Aaliyah to win again.
by throwing a shoe at Sasha.
Take that.
You could even have Bailey try and coach Aaliyah and how to beat. You know, well, you see what you did there. Like, have her go see Bailey in the hospital. big nets with that.
Yes. Some great vignettes. Yeah.
But I think the Liv Morgan pass out moment is the big part of this Queen of the Ring. I think having her pass out to Becky, even though Becky doesn't win it, I think having her pass out to Becky just gets people to go, oh my gosh, this is she's the real deal. And just have her grit through a lot of stuff. I think Liv Morgan could be that grit character. I think she's the diamond in the rough right now in the entire division. And I've thought that for a while.
Oh, I agree. Well, the only person that I had more faith in that wasn't getting pushed in the women's division,
Shayna Baszler.
Well, Shayna Baszler and Ruby Riott. I thought
Yeah.
Ruby Riott was a star waiting to happen, and WWE never knew what to do with her.
But then they gave her gimmick to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and I suspect we're about to see on the Indies or maybe AEW. Knock on wood, cross fingers. I suspect we're about to see what Ruby Soho can do. So, anyways, so that is that. We're calling it right now. If they're smart, they have Shayna Baszler win Queen of the Wing.
Of the Wing? Queen of the Wing.
Queen of the Wing.
Elbow Fladia. Shayna Baszler is going to win the Queen of the Wing.
Brings us together today.
Marriage.
Love, true love.
It's a circle. Different show, but still funny.
So that is your Queen of the Ring.
And she could easily pull off a year of that.
But, yes. So now...
Should we go back and book that as though it's JLB involved?
No. I'm fine with this being a shorter episode.
He has a solid argument for Naomi beating Asuka at some point.
Mm-hmm. You'd probably put Tamina in there too as well.
Natty would have been in there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have her lose early. Anyways,
so we will go ahead and roll on with the rest of the show, which is our game, AEW, Ring of Honor, or Impact. This is the game we like to play. I'm going to throw out 3 current WWE superstars. Well, current might not be the best word for my plan. And he has to choose which of those promotions he would have them go at. And then he's going to do the same back to me. And I've already given you the hint. My current WWE superstars, they're all technically current. But I am going to do this as a time travel in their prime concept.
Okay.
Because for at least one of them, it's kind of important. But I guess all of them. Your first round, your choices are heir apparents, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Shane McMahon.
Ooh.
In their primes.
In their prime.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie McMahon to manage the AEW women's division. She does bring something to the table there.
Well, I mean, she created women, so yeah.
Stop. But she brings something serious to the table. And I think having that authority figure in the women's division would be valuable. And it's not this broken gimmick of Vicky Guerrero.
Okay.
Shane to ROH isn't really known for its gimmick matches, and Shane needs gimmick matches, unfortunately. So he's going to go to Impact. He's going to be in an Ultimate X match. He's going to get up to the middle of the Ultimate X. He's going to stand up on it and do a jump down to the bottom while balancing on the Ultimate X. Yes.
That was me doing a jump.
Yeah. Good jump, bud. Good jump.
Yeah, that was a good jump. Good as I can do.
And Triple H to ROH, not because he wouldn't be good in either of the other two. He's just he just takes over so much of everything. And so in ROH, he would see he has an ability to elevate other people, and I think he could elevate some of their young stars. And yes, he'd hold the title for probably a year or two.
Good enough?
It's probably not the best move. It probably really isn't, because Triple H is really the only wrestler in that group. I mean, Stephanie in her prime is help Triple H cheat to win.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephanie's prime as a manager or as an on-screen character really was about 4 years ago. Like, it wasn't a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, of those three names, you saying Triple H is the only wrestler, but Shane is the only one whose contract says specifically performer.
Wrestler, yes, yeah, yeah, that's true. But
That's exciting. Okay, who you got for me?
well, I mentioned forgotten gimmicks, and so we're gonna have a time machine.
Okay.
And we're going to use Doink the Clown. We're going to use Atom Bomb, which is Brian Adams. And we're going to use Crush. So two of them, you got to use their crappy gimmick. Doink the Clown never really had another gimmick other than that. So,
well, crappy gimmick not. Doink's not going on AEW or Impact, so.
What? I think he'd be great on Impact.
This is where my bias comes in, but I have no interest in seeing Doink the Clown on any of my TV. So, for me, I'm not putting him on one of the shows that I can watch. He's going on the one show I can't.
Okay, ROH he is.
Easily, I should say. So, Ring of Honor.
I also think he'd work really, really well in AAA if you wanted to switch Ring of Honor to AAA. Because Latin culture, clowns are creepy.
But, so then, Crush or Atom Bomb to AEW.
Remember, they have to be the gimmick.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to.
And Atom Bomb can come with Harvey Whippleman or doesn't have to come with Harvey Whippleman. Atom Bomb, baby.
God, just God, Crush gimmicks are so bad. Atom Bomb to AEW, Crush to Impact. If it was Chronic, Brian Adams, and Chronic,
Brian Clark,
it would be the other way around. But Crush gimmick was just so bad. I don't want him in AEW.
The Atom Bomb gimmick was pretty fun. It sucked that it was Atom Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his in-ring play was better there than he was when he was Chronic.
But I just, frankly, if Brian Adams in his prime were to walk into the Performance Center today, he would skip NXT and go straight to main roster.
Brian Adams?
Yes, Brian Adams. From a look standpoint.
Dude was cut.
Yeah. From a performance capability standpoint, he would be main roster in a heartbeat. But anyways.
Oh, I thought you were going to put up a picture of Brian Adams.
I was just trying to get rid of that because it wasn't sitting there. So yeah, that would be how I do that. I don't know any other way to do it.
Well, and remember, one's finisher was the Heart Punch, which just sucks as a finisher. And the other one had a Ripcord Powerbomb, which was really, or not a Ripcord Powerbomb. What do they call it when they pump handle Powerbomb, which was really badass.
Yes, it was really badass.
So, yeah.
So that's what I would do there. But But that brings us to the end of this show. A little bit shorter of an episode than normal, but when we only have 2 of us here, that plays into it.
There
It
was
looks
also
like
a
I
lot
just-
less.
It looked like I just flipped off the screen, but that I was putting 2 up. It just was on the edge there, so you couldn't see the other finger.
There was
yeah.
also in this particular episode there was a lot less of. Well, I do Liv Morgan. No,
Wait, no. What did I say? Did I say
Asuka,
Liv Morgan? I do Asuka versus Liv Morgan, and then I would have Becky Lynch win that. Wait, I meant to say Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. No, Becky Lynch versus Asuka.
So it's main roster only, right? Okay, so Candice LeRae. What are you doing?
Yeah, and here's the deal. You bring up an interesting point. That Queen of the Ring bracket goes totally different if they allow NXT women in there.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of differences that go on. You know, Asuka might not even be on it if they're doing NXT women.
no, because she's better for a feud afterward.
Yep. Aaliyah wouldn't make it on it. No, Sri Bob. We would have Candice LeRae or Dakota Kai or someone like that on there.
Yeah, how pumped am I for Dakota Kai versus
Buddy.
Raquel Gonzalez?
My only worry is some of the reports have it that Vince is eyeing Raquel Gonzalez for the main roster.
No. You're telling the story. So far, everything's been told exactly the same as HBK Diesel.
Yeah.
Everything's been told exactly the same, except for Raquel got the title before
I am going to paraphrase Vince McMahon. Fuck your stories.
You can't do that. Can't do that. This is going great. They can come back together. They can be draped in gold with all the women's gold, and then they can have a curtain call where they give random 2 other people that we don't know they're best friends with hugs. Mm-hmm. And those 2 people go off to the main roster, or Raquel Gonzalez, and somebody else goes off to the main. Well, but we can do main roster.
Right,
so that's when you have Raquel Gonzalez go to the main roster is when she's a curtain call.
Yes. But again, Vince McMahon says, "Fuck your stories." It's why he took their undefeated champion and booked him to lose 2 out of 3 matches on the main roster and look like a punk, despite the fact that they're telling a storyline right now in NXT that is trying to sell Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross as this big badass fight between 2 badasses. But one of them you just take to the main roster and make look like a punk.
Yeah.
Fuck your stories. That's what he says.
So was there actually a rumor that they were making his power person Scarlett?
Yes, that's been the report. Although it doesn't make sense in the end right now. For this reason. If that truly was the report, that they were going to have him lose all the time until Scarlett came up and unlocked
then he shouldn't have beat Keith Lee.
Then he shouldn't have beat Keith Lee. He should be 0-3 right now. And that's what apparently the storyline was. But it got thrown into shambles when Jeff Hardy got COVID. But it didn't need to get thrown into shambles because you didn't need to book him to beat Keith Lee.
But fuck Keith Lee. He wants to keep his name.
Yeah. Screw Keith Lee. We need to have him lose.
How dare you try and keep your own name?
Yeah. How dare you stand up to the E? We'll show you. That's a nice name you got. Sure would be a shame if someone ruined it.
It's almost like they think that people don't know who somebody is when they show up on another promotion.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's Jon Moxley. Boy, we haven't seen him ever.
It's almost like they don't understand that when one of your stars shows up in another promotion, it makes your promotion look better, right?
Especially if they win the title.
Yeah, if they're one of your wrestlers, if they're Rusev for you, and then they go off to another promotion and win the title, it makes your promotion look better because you created Rusev, right?
Yep.
But
But
they don't care about that. They just want to
Rusev's
trade
retired,
offers.
and we don't know where he's at. We haven't seen
Yeah,
him.
we don't know. We haven't seen him in forever. Him and
Yep.
his ex-wife.
AEW goes off and finds some Rusev lookalike and calls him Miro.
Yeah, even says he's from Bulgaria. Weird.
Chintzy thieves.
Yeah, they just have no imagination. They're just gimmick infringement.
Yeah.
That is a crime. But anyways, on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Fantasy Booking Institute. There's a little bit shorter episode, like we said, but that's fine. Makes it easier for you guys to listen to. Anyone who showed up for the live stream, thanks for coming. I hope you, if you didn't show up for the live stream, that you come back to watch it on replay or you listen to it on the podcast. If that's your thing, do that. I am going to start recording some reaction videos this week, so send me a tweet on the Twitter at Raw and Order WBU for some matches for me to react to, because I'm gonna record a couple of those this weekend and start posting those up.
You don't have to watch a match, but I want to see your reaction to the video that's going around of a cow abscess being ruptured.
Yes, no, I'm not gonna do that.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
It's repulsive.
I'm sure it is.
You should watch it.
No, I'm not gonna. I get enough of Dr. Pimple Popper videos. I don't need to watch a cow abscess.
Oh, this is way better than a Dr. Pimple Popper.
Nope. I'm out.
Sandra Lee's pissed off at you for not watching the abscess.
Fuck this noise. I'm out. But no, I'm gonna watch the matches. Specifically, I'm gonna try to watch. My hopes is I'm gonna start off, since I don't have any real suggestions at the moment. I'm gonna pick my own matches, but as we get some suggestions, my real hope is to try to catch matches that are not necessarily WWE matches, mainstream matches. Try to watch some of those matches. Maybe lesser known people, or maybe people wrestling on the indies. So, I might watch a Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic, or as he would have been at the time, Donovan Dijak, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla match or something like that. Because I want to see some stuff that I haven't necessarily seen.
I think somebody should challenge you to, I don't know, watch a Kennel from Hell match.
Nope. This isn't botch along. This is good reaction. This is positive shit.
Nope.
Kevin Bacon wasn't in Footloose.
First challenge, you got to take it. Can't delete it off Twitter either.
Nope, sure can. I don't have to take anything. I never said this is a first come first served challenge.
Take that Kennel from Hell match.
Tweet at me the good matches and I'll watch them. You're the one who came up with the idea of watching botch-alongs, and so you can continue that shit. I very specifically.
It is time to start season 2. We're at the time of year where it's time to do a season 2 and get 26 weeks in real quick.
Yep, it sure is time.
Which
get working on it.
JLB and I need to sit and watch some internet for 5 hours someday of just
Yes. But anyway,
Sid Vicious getting his leg snapped and stuff.
I might just watch some segments from like old TNA, like I watch the whole segment that Jay Lethal trying to out Nature Boy Ric Flair. That one's been going around. I might watch that whole segment. That'd be fun.
Might work.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Good Lord.
Anyways, but I'm going to start doing that. But make sure to check in the doobly-doos right down there. The links down there for our Patreon, our merch store, our social medias, all of that stuff is in there. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and let me know what matches you would like to see me react to. I'm going to start doing that this week. But you can always tweet me or find me on social media at Raw and Order WBU. Pretty much any place you can go. You can follow D.A. Fabe at
D.A. Vincent Kayfabe.
He's not going to post anything, but you can follow him. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's on Instagram, you'll get a post from my actual person, not my character. And yeah.
And speaking of that, head on over to the Raw and Order Instagram and answer my informal poll, because I really want to know if anyone out there, is actually excited to see QT Marshall on their screen on AEW.
Did you see some nut job said that they have Stockholm syndrome and want to see it?
Some nut job said that.
Not D.A. Vincent Kayfabe.
No,
Not him.
sure wasn't. Not him. Definitely weren't. But on that note, we are going to close the book. I would like to thank everyone for listening, and we will see you soon.
But